All right, I'm live. Hey guys, how you doing? It is the Do Carpenter. I'm on vacation, but I was at my sister's house and doing some honeydew projects for her. She needed a wall tore out in her house. And so I got an opportunity to use some of the tools that they have hanging on their wall. Um, they are obviously big fans of Dewalt, as am I. I do have some Dewalt tools. Hey, hello Anita, how you doing? But anyways, I just wanted to do a quick review. I also got a chance to use some Porter cable tools like this. And so I just wanted to do a kind of a quick review, the difference between the tools. I use Ryobi, and I always use them just because the money difference, because they were inexpensive. And I'm not saying Ryobi is a bad product. It is a good product. I had one drill that I've had for 15 years, and I just barely burned it up last week. So I think they're a good product, but ergonomically wise, when you're holding a Dewalt and you're using a Dewalt tool, they're much more responsive. They're the chucks are way tighter. I have an issue with my Dewalt, or excuse me, my Ryobis, of when I tighten the chuck, not being able to get it tight enough. And if you go counterclockwise and stop real fast, it'll undo itself. And so, let's see who's on there. You also like DeWalt. Anita Johnson says she also likes DeWalt. I'll tell you what, after spending a little bit of time using these tools, the saw, I use the Sawzall and whatnot. And they've been using them for years. You can see he's got the older ones with the big 18-volt battery, but then we've got the newer ones here that take the 20-volt lithium battery. And I was completely blown away by the DeWalt ones. I know DeWalt's been around for decades and decades and decades, because I picked up a radial arm saw that was a DeWalt, and it was made in the late 40s, early 50s. And so they've been around a long time. They've got it figured out. I'm just going to go ahead and from now on, I think I'm just going to put out a little extra money and get the DeWalt products. It runs in my family, obviously. My sister's house, they have tons of tools too. They're just like me. So, but whatever the case may be, I did also like the Porter cable. They're kind of a medium, but their 20-volt lithium system is, they're tight, and I like the handles. They're very ergonomic. But I still think I prefer the DeWalt just a little bit more than I do the Porter cable. So anyways, there you have it, guys. I just wanted to, I'm on vacation. I probably shouldn't be even doing videos, but I just wanted to touch base with y'all. And let me see who else has been on there. And it's probably a bad time of day to do a live show anyway. But I just wanted to touch base and let you know I'm still thinking about you guys. It's been raining cats and dogs over on the other side of the state where I live. All right, hey, Kari Kreb from Dome Housing just said hello. How you doing, buddy? I keep threatening to buy pink tools. Yeah, Um, uh, I I've been gotten in trouble a time or two for getting into Melanie's tools because she has to have her own, right? And yeah, if she painted in pink, that might deter me. But anyways, guys, I am super excited. Just here in a few days, I'm gonna head back, and we are gonna hit that aircrete shed hard. And what excites me about it is there's gonna be corner details where we make the walls panels together in the corners, where there's gonna be door frame details where we uh, reinforce door frames. I'll probably do it with a steel system so it just maintains the non-combustible nature of the building. And then I'm going to do overhead header details. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get on my SketchUp and I'm going to draw out every detail and just kind of go over it and say, this is what we're going to be working on today. And then you guys can see me do it out in real time and install it. And then once we have the side with the door and the side with the window, because over the window there will be a header and down below it there will be some short panels, and I'll probably a real standard size of window is 32 inches wide by 30, I think it's 35 inches tall or whatever. I'll probably use that because I can fit it right in between two 16-inch panels. And when we do the gable end details and the roof eaves and the soffit details, I think I'll just go ahead and draw those all up and just kind of show you what I've got sketched out, rotate it around 360 so you can visualize it good, and then we'll go and knock out that detail and put it together. And that way, you guys that are really interested in doing these sheds or something like that would have all the information you need to knock it out. Oh, and I am going to be posting my mixed design for the wall panel because I poured the first one and it set up really well in like 24 hours. I got to see it before we left on vacation, 72 hours old. It just, I mean, it felt and looked great, and it was pretty light still. It's gonna get lighter as it cures out. But anyways, I've gotta go. My family's waiting for me. My sister had this beautiful shot to do my live show in. I appreciate her letting me use it, and she probably appreciates me busting out her walls for her. Thanks. I think the shed is a great idea. It is. It's a great idea. And hey, Paula, how you doing? Oh, she said you read my mind. I was going to ask you the mix design for the panel. Yeah, because I did have a bunch of different ingredients in there. I need to put the ratios out. There was some baking soda and lime and some perlite that I put in just for consistency, not necessarily for anything structural, but I am enjoying my vacation. Mrs. Honeydew, I just got off the phone with her and we were doing some Skype, and she is in Hawaii on the island of Maui, not on the big island where they're having all the volcano eruptions, but she is getting ready to go snorkeling today, and I was just so excited for her because it's been a bucket list thing for her. She's always wanted to go to Hawaii, and between having babies and me having a broken leg and being laid up for 2 years, it just hasn't happened. And Julie, her girlfriend, challenged. They just I don't know, about a year ago came up with this challenge that she goes, you can start a YouTube channel and make some money. And I thought they were both crazy. She came over and thought that she had discovered a honeydew carpenter, and that's how this all came about. Oh, lived in Hawaii for 3 years and it's awesome. That is awesome. I'll let Melanie know when she gets home. But I was just super excited for her to just to be able to do that, just to set a goal and then start something up from scratch and be able to generate enough money and put it away and save it to go and do that. She actually got the money saved and was able to pay for it before I quit my job and started doing this full time. Luckily, because we're still on a pretty strict budget right now, but I don't know. I was just thrilled that she was able to go and do that. So, and hopefully, here in a couple years, we'll all be able to go together. I'm impressed how big your channel has gotten so fast with the great content. Vasco Zuzus. Well, thanks, buddy. I got to be honest. I was blown away myself. Julie came by and she just said, "Well, why don't you make a table?" And that was my very first project. And I made this really cool folding table in my wood shop. And then she was like, "Well, can you weld in this?" She knew I could. She saw my welders and stuff in my shop. And I was like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "Well, can you do this project?" And she wanted me to make her a rocket mass heater. And she wanted it lightweight. And so the insulation had to be lightweight. And so I started researching lightweight insulations that can take real good heat. And I came across aircrete. But I had no way to generate the foam or do anything, and that's how the foam mate was developed. And really, I've sent those out all over the world, and so that's kind of what allowed me to be able to quit my job and come home and start doing these projects full time so that I can really put out some good content out there for everybody. Was that one invention, the foam mate, which is crazy. No fair. I'm limited to watching reruns on Hawaii 5-0. Looking forward to the wall and the connections on the shed. Go, Melanie. I'm so proud of you. She'll watch this later, I'm sure. How cold does Idaho get? Well, it was 21 below last winter for a period of time. It stayed between like 5 and 20 below for about a 3-week period, so it gets pretty dang cold. I've got a propane tank to use for my system, so I can't wait to get the mix. That's awesome. You know what? I'm offering those larger capacity tanks as an option for people that want to do larger jobs, and I'll send it to you. But if you have a propane tank and you're able to get the 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch NPT taps and be able to drill into it and tap it and feel comfortable. Make sure you purge that thing with water good before you go cutting or drilling on it, buddy. It is a propane tank. But yeah, that's a great idea. I was just using a below ground pressure tank from a well system on mine, so it's rather big. I would actually rather have a 5-gallon propane tank, to be honest with you. Would aircrete work well for buildings in northern Wisconsin? I think it would. Everybody was concerned about the freeze-thaw cycle and whatnot. And so I'm not going to say I did it. It wasn't my idea. My boys got into my sample blocks and threw them in a pool. One of their little kitty, it was actually a tote they had filled with water. And so they had been saturated all night, and they were just sitting there floating in the morning when I got out there. And I took one of those blocks out, put it in a garbage bag, and put it in the freezer and froze it for a couple days. And it didn't seem to affect it at all. So I think it would work great. I'm going to put a waterproof coating on the outside of this shed, and obviously on the roof too. So I think it would work great. Now, in northern Wisconsin, where you have some serious below weather or below zero temperatures, what I'm really excited about is my double-walled aircrete stovepipe. I think that stuff is going to take off. I call it, on Julie's system that I put up for, I call it my hot air vacuum. Because once you get air into it, that's just a little over 100 degrees, between 100 and 150 degrees, it just sucks so hard. I can't believe how hard that thing flew. It's crazy. He said, I'm going to braze the connectors on. If you have that skill, yeah, I could do it too. But it's something that not everybody could do. But if you're going to braze them on, that would work great too. Just make sure you get a, you acid wash and get a good primer on there so that when you get pressure in there, 90 pounds of pressure or whatever. Actually, I run my large tank one at about 60 pounds. It works great. So, when they build with earth bags, they use wooden blocks to connect the stuff to the walls. Are you going to put anything in your walls to connect stuff? Of course, your first wall looked to be 24-inch wide. This wall panel system is kind of built like a normal stud building in that the panels are 16 inches wide, and typically studs are put up 16 inches on center. And so I am going to use all sheet metal studs and whatnot. I will have a architectural sheet metal trim with a drip edge for the window seals and everything bent. But I want it to be a completely non-combustible building, so I'm going to try and not use any wood in it. The only thing in it that's going to be wood, it's just for the energy absorption, is probably Grandpa wants a bench in there with a vise and stuff and some pegboard for his tools behind it, similar to what we got going on back here. And so I am going to do that for him. But as far as fire hazard and stuff, I just want it to be a non-combustible situation so that it's kind of fireproof and bug-proof and mold-proof, and it's just a structure that'll just last forever and ever. Let's see what we got. So, cool. Hey, John, how's it going? Plans? Yeah, I'll post the complete plans of it. I did when I sat down with Grandpa to find out exactly what he wanted, I did a quick sketch on my SketchUp, but I'm gonna do incremental details and plans of how the whole thing goes together as I do it. And even as I pour these panels, I think I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna break the front wall up into panels, because I know it's 40 inches from the corner over to where the door starts, and so there's going to be one 10-inch panel there. We did that on purpose because his gold wing is 40 inches wide, and they want it to fit so it's not in the way of the door to get stuff in and out and whatnot. So, but let's see what else we got going on. Is there any place you can get plans for an aircrete shed or cabin? I think I'm kind of making this building system up as I go here. I have a pretty good background in the construction industry and in building and in cement and concrete and testing, materials testing. Eventually, I want to go ahead and build a whole wall panel system and take it to a UL certified ASTM lab and get it shear tested so that it passes code. But I'm not aware of any plans out there that you can do right now. I am going to obviously build this, and I have a time-lapse camera system that we just got. So you're going to be able to see the whole thing, like 3 or 4 weeks of construction go up in a matter of minutes. I'm going to have incremental videos along the way with all the details. And then I'm going to post the full plans for people that want to copy it and build with it. So, as soon as I said I was leaving, people came on with a ton of questions. That's okay. Anita says, I'm trying to talk my brother to putting in a rocket mass stove in his huge straw bale ranch house in South Dakota. The Aircrete. You know, I'd love to go down to South Dakota and just showcase his house, because I know a lot of people that just always wanted to build a straw bale house, and I just think it's an incredible system as far as economics go. Could you? Oh. Since we're on the subject of aircrete, does it need reinforcement for the wall panel? Yes, it does. Aircrete is brittle, and as is all concrete. All concrete needs reinforcement. I'm putting a steel fabric on both sides of each wall. It's just like sheetrock or gypsum board would just crumble if it didn't have paper on both sides. It's the same concept. I'm just using a steel mesh webbing. And if you look at my video, you'll see me roll it out, cut it, and lay it in the form before I pour it. Now, I didn't put it on the top side, obviously, where the chickens went in it, because once those are put up in place and all strapped together with the sheet metal straps and expansion joints, I'm going to have to put another layer of wire on the outside, kind of similar to they do when they do a stucco building, and then I'm going to take a sprayer, basically, what do you call it, a wall texture sprayer, and spray that with aircrete. So it'll be similar to a stucco system, and then I'm going to also spray it with a sealant that'll seal it just watertight. And so it'll have a wire mesh on both sides, and on the outside the wire mesh will go completely over any joints. So it's going to be a kind of a cool system as we get going on it. Oh, everyone is going live right now. Hey, True Tech. Yeah, it's similar to a shotcrete sprayer, but you can run it through a texture sprayer though, because it's aircrete and it's so light and it doesn't have the aggregate or anything in it. To bale. So I am gonna sign off, but I love you guys. Stay tuned. This build is gonna be fun. I hate talking about things I'm going to do. I like talking about action, what I'm gonna do, and what I am actually doing. You guys have seen me, the groundwork where I've got started, and you've seen me start on the panel, so I'm not so worried about talking about this as something I'm going to do, because I am doing it. So this is what's going on right now. But I will talk to you guys later, and bye.